Hi guys, welcome back. So today I thought we'd be a little more Christmassy and try and attempt to make a poinsettia flower. So what I did was I made 2-inch cuts, and I have 4 of pomegranate red and 4 of the crimson, and we're going to make those into a Skinner blend. I don't have a 4-inch cutter and I can never seem to get it 4 inches, so I always do this anyways. So I'll just push it down. And then we want to make a leaf. So for the leaf, I use just regular Premo green. All this is Premo. And I made 2, adding a little bit of black to give it a darker green. And then I'm going to cover it with this, which is a really nice dark green. Okay, for the center of the flower, all I did was take any yellow. I think I used yellow ochre. And I wrapped it in a brown and made a bunch of little teeny ones. Okay, and that's going to be our center. If you don't know how to do that and you want me to show you how to do that cane, I will do that on another video if you'd like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all of this. And I'm going to make a couple Skinner blends. I'm going to get some brown clay to make my little leaves in here. Okay, so I'm going to take these 2, make a Skinner blend out of those, and I'm going to make a Skinner blend, out of those. I don't know what got on that one. Okay, so let me get that taken care of, and I will be right back. Alrighty, so we're back, and the way I'm going to fold these up, excuse my mess of wrappers right here, I made a center for our leaves. It's sitting on my lap right now, so I will show you that in a minute. So I'm making a fan fold, but this is not going to be top and bottom. It's going to be side to side because I want to make the leaf look like it's got a little bit of shadow to it. Usually I don't, you know how when you make a Skinner blend, you run it up and down, and then you fold it in half, and then you turn it and roll it, you know, straight down to make a really long strip. I usually don't do that with the red. I just do a regular Skinner blend, and I don't fold it and go down the other way, and that way I got my side right there, but I wanted to try it this way. Because when I do it the other way, it just makes it really long on the wrong side. And I know that probably doesn't make sense, but it doesn't matter. Just make a fan fold. I'm rambling here. Okay. So this is our poinsettia leaf. Okay. So basically I want it rounded like this. So I want the left side or the right side to be a little lighter. So we're going to round it this way. Okay. And then we have to remember which way it goes when we put on our actual branches for our leaves. I think I've done this once before and I put the leaves on wrong, so it ended up being that was top and bottom. So I got to make sure I turn it to the side. I'm just trying to make this really condensed just to get all the air bubbles out. See, there's one right there. Got black clay all over my hands, in my nails. Now I got red clay over everything, because this has got to be the worst clay, is red. It's one that seems to stick to me the most. And I got so many air bubbles in here. Okay. So, make sure again, when you do your poinsettia leaf, that you don't make this top and bottom. make sure it's like this. Okay, so we're going to make the leaves like this, and then they're going to end up coming up. So I'm going to do 4 strips here. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so for the inside, I just used a little bit of ecru, or not ecru, I used the raw sienna. And I took that raw sienna and add black, and that gave me a real funky color to it. But I'm thinking also of using ecru because I think a light brown might look really good here too, and that would kind of give it that shadow look as well. Because that might be too much. Actually, this dark brown might be too much. So let me go grab some ecru, and I'll do ecru and raw sienna instead. Okay, so I've got 2 strips here. I got 1 ecru and 1 raw sienna. These are both cut at a number 3. I'm just going to do that. And I was going to take the brown. Wow, everything's sticking here. Might have been not been the smartest thing to do. This clay was really soft when I opened up the package for Premo. It's just really mushy. So that's a first. But it stuck to all of that. Okay, so that's going to be a thick center. So what I'm going to do, I cut them both at a 0. And now I'm going to cut, no, I'm sorry, I cut them both at a 3. Now I'm going to put them again at a 3. And that's going to be for my center. So I'm going to do a 1.5. This will be for the center of the leaf. And this I'm going to take down on number 5. Okay. So now this is a number 5, and this is going to be the branches. So I'm going to be good and do it one at a time. It's amazing how much of a mess we make just on one project. Not really worried about them being perfect. Okay, so now we're going to pull that off. This one's a little bigger. Well, we have a huge storm coming in tomorrow, and the wind is already picked up. And you can just hear it through the windows. It's making me cold. Okay, so we got one more. All right, that doesn't want to come off very well, and that one's just kind of... Okay, so I'm going to show you where I messed up. And to make sure that you check this, if you make this. And I'll show you. See how you got light red, dark red, light red. So this should have been turned around like that. Now I got to turn this one around. Now we just got to make sure that that one's on. Okay, so all the light reds are on that side. So we are good now. So I'm going to move this over. Now we're just going to round it back out. I got a lot of little scraps, don't I? I'm hoping this isn't going to be really small. I thought I used a lot of clay. But now that I look at it, it doesn't look as small or as big as I needed it. So with your basic branches parallel to you, you're going to cut sideways like that. Oh, and it's nice when you have a blade that'll cut through easier than mine did. Okay, so that's what it looked like. And we're going to turn one over. Okay, so there's our leaf. So I have the lighter on the bottom. This one's not going to matter. So I'm going to go lighter against the dark. And that way it'll show up a little better. Okay. Okay, so we're going to set this aside. And we're going to do the same for our leaf. Just going to quickly bundle this guy up. If I move off a camera, it's just because I have it all on my lap. Okay, so this makes it easier if you do it this way. So last time I made this, it didn't come out all that great. And I think it's because I didn't wrap my flower in a darker color. So I'm going to make sure that we do that, and that we do that with the green. So we got some nice definition. So this one, again, we want it to be on the side. So again, we're going to make this round now. And I just need 5 leaves for this, so that's why I didn't make that much. Okay, and you're just going to squish it down. Okay, so again, make sure that your leaves are to the side. And then I think we're just going to do 3 on this one. So we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and pull some more ecru out. So let me throw this back through the machine, make another strip, and I'll be right back. Okay, we did the same with the green. We cut these both at a 3, and then put them through the pasta machine again at a 3, and then cut it, and then I put this back through, but I went on a number 5 this time. I'm hoping they're all going to be about this size. Okay, so I'm going to make sure okay, well that's odd. So that should be yellow or green, that should be lighter, that should be a lighter. Okay, so that's the lightest, right? Do this one. Well, I'm not quite sure what happened here. I will trim this up later. Okay. I'm going to go one more time. So it's going to be like that. So the lighter color goes that way. Okay. So we're going to kind of roll it again. Alrighty, so on this one now, we're just going to cut it at an angle here. Okay, so now all that's done. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to cut this yet because I don't know how small I want to make it, but I'm going to get this to be 12 leaves. So let me go ahead and make that. So we're going to go 12 inches. I'm just going to do this at 1 inch instead of 1.5. So let me reduce this and I'll be right back. So guys, before I get too far ahead of myself, which I already did, I'm coming back really quick. I did not reduce too much, and I didn't reduce this, but guess what I forgot? I forgot to tell you to make sure that you cover these with a darker color so that your leaves will stand out. I have been doing that a lot lately, forgetting to do that final step. And that's why my other one did not come out very well. All right, let's get this to fit a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, but don't forget that final step. After you make your poinsettia, make sure that you wrap it in a darker color so that your leaves will stand out. I'm trying to think of where my bottom is, so I just want to go basically to the top right there. I want to leave a little bit of that sticking out so I kind of know where to fold it. Okay, so now I can go back and reduce. So I will be back again. I'm going to do the same with the other one. And we'll see in a few minutes. Okay, so we are back. We didn't reduce the leaf yet. So right now we're just going to work straight on the poinsettia. And I'm not used to working at 1 inch. But if I make it any bigger, I seem to use a lot more translucent to wrap this in. So that's why I'm just doing 1 inch. Okay, and I need 12 of them. Okay, so this is our poinsettia leaf. Okay, so I just rolled them as a circle because now I'm going to come in and I'm going to squeeze both sides so that they're pointy. And then we'll shape them more when we get them all lined up. Okay, and I'm not really squishing the bottom ones as much as I'm going to squish the top ones. So there's 2. So you don't have to watch me do all of them. Basically, I'll do one more. Squish your bottoms, make sure they all line up, which is another reason why I do this after I cut them. And that way I pretty much know I've got them all where I need them. So let me go ahead and do the rest of them and I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back. So we have a total of 12 leaves for the poinsettia plant. Okay, so now we can kind of play with them and kind of line them all up, making sure that our branches go the same way. And this is going to be 6 on the inside. Making sure all my branches are facing the right way. So it's going to be like this. Open it up just a little more. Okay, so that's going to be our center. So that's how big we want our center to go. So I'm going to cut this at about 3/4 of an inch. Why do I feel like I'm longer than an inch? Actually, I'm not. Okay, and I'm just going to roll this so it's just a little longer. Okay, so I'm going to just move those over there. Okay, so make sure all my leaves are facing this way. Okay, so there you go. So that's your center of your flower, which actually looks good if you just want to leave it like that. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it upside down. And I'm going to make sure that the bottom is touching the flower. You might have to give it a little bit of a point in order to do that. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. They were all supposed to come up together. Let's try that again. Ready? Go. All right. Okay. So now you've got these 6, and these are all going to fit in between the other 6. Okay. So we're going to put that right there. And again, you just point them if you feel like you need to. The worst part of this is reducing. I hate reducing flowers. But when you have this many leaves, it just, to me, is a little difficult because they like to squish when you're reducing. And if it squishes too much, it just squishes out of shape. Okay, so look at that. There is our poinsettia. Hopefully it comes up in one piece. I'm going to turn it over. Going to look on this side. So far, so good. Okay, and now we're going to do some leaves. So I'm thinking of putting 1 up here, 2 up here, and then 2 down here. This is all going to be filled with translucent clay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I can go 4 and just put the leaves coming out off the sides. So I do have some leaves that I made before. These are really small. But if I have enough, I could at least kind of get an idea of what I want to do. So 1, 2. So I'm just going to cut this in half and see if I like 4. This is nowhere near the size that I'm using. It's just a gauge for me real quick. Okay, so I can do that. Which actually looks really, really good. Which I may just do 4. So here's one more. Because if I do 5, I feel like that's going to need 1. Okay, so now I kind of like the 6. The only problem is wow, I kind of like the 6. Okay, so we're going to see how thin or how small this ends up going at 6 inches. So let me go ahead and reduce this to 6 inches. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to reduce it round. And then I will go ahead and get its shape after they're cut. So I will be back one more time. Okay, so we're done reducing that. So now we're going to make this at 1 inch as well. And this is a little mushy, so I don't know if I'm going to have to kind of let it sit for a while or not. Get all that out of my way. Okay, so I know I want the top pointed. I don't know what I'm going to do with the bottom yet. So for now, I'm just going to put a point at the top. More. Okay. So now, it'd be nice to hook that up in a crook of the, you know, instead of right on top of the leaf, put it kind of like to the side. And then I'm going to have to decide whether I want yeah. It's okay to do it like that. But no, I kind of like that 6. Okay, guys, so there is our poinsettia flower. So now the fun part is we're going to take translucent clay and I'm just going to wrap each one and try and keep this as a circle. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far. I'm going to go get some translucent now and condition it, and then I'll show you how I fill it, and then I'll shut it off while I fill it. So talk to you in a minute. Okay, so I'm back, and I don't want the video to be a long video, but unfortunately, making these kind of canes, you really have to be, like, really slow and careful, because when you reduce this and squish it all together, all of these leaves has a tendency to move around. So I normally just put translucent in between everything, but I think I'm going to try something different. So I'm going to show you 1 or 2 leaves, and then I'm going to hit pause again because I think this is going to take me forever. And I don't want you to have to sit here for over an hour. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to try this first, is go from the top Or see that little bump right there where it starts to get thin when you pinched it? That's all I'm going to do. And I got this cut at a number 3. This may not work. It's just something that I thought of to see if it would make it easier for me to get a really nice tight fit. Okay, so I thought that if the leaves were really close to each other like that, I might be able to get away with it. But I'm not. I'm going to have to go either thicker. Let me see what it would be at the thickest setting on my machine. And this translucent is so, I don't know if it's old or just what, but it was pretty hard running through the pasta machine. It took forever just to condition what I got. So this is probably the worst color to dry out. Okay, so now if I do the same like that on this one, I don't know where that brown came from. And that's set at the thickest setting. Okay, so that kind of works. Okay, but you're still going to have to do that around the red, and then you're going to have to come through and fill up the sides. And notice how the leaves, they don't fit in there. So if you make this pointy, it may fit in there much better to where you won't need to pack the sides. Does that make sense? I don't want to put translucent in between the leaves. I want it all to be one flower. So basically when you make this, you're going to have to shape these. Oh, I hate having to take these back out, but I don't think we have a choice. So just squish the very bottoms. Okay, because you want it kind of chubby. Like that. Okay, so any way you want to do it, you can, but this is what I'm probably going to do. And what I'll do is I'll put one around there. And then I'll come in maybe and put one right there, or I might just pack it like that. But see how that leaves a little bit of gap in there if you do it that way. Okay, so what we're going to do really quick, you got to be careful too, because once you start putting it together, they like to stick to each other. And I'm afraid of not getting it back out. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is pull the leaves off. Okay, and we're going to reshape this so that it's a little fatter, so that all these fit in perfectly. And hopefully with the green, see how like that, just kind of squish it. I don't know if I went thinner on this one or not. I think I already did. And just kind of squish it like that. See, now I'm never going to get this back out. So once you do this, this is permanent. You'll have a really hard time getting them back out. See, and then just kind of squish it in like that. Okay, so there's 2. So I'm going to do that with the rest of them. So I'm just going to go for a real pointy edge, like that. And I'm going to kind of stick it in a little more. Okay. And then we're going to stick that leaf right there. And we're just going to try and shove everything together. That one's pretty fat already. But that's a huge space in between those two. Okay, now this is a little fatter, so that might work okay. And then we have our last one. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull the green out now because I got them pretty tight in there. Okay, so again, put that leaf in there like that, and then we're just going to kind of condense it in like that. Okay, so now we got a plan. Okay, so now basically, let's get this a little more. Your leaves don't have to be perfect, they're leaves. Okay, so now all we have to do basically is just fill up these tiny areas. That's a lot easier. So let's do a really quick one for you. And then I'm probably going to pause and finish the rest off camera. Okay, I just kind of want to see what I would do when I do this. Okay, so you can do that. And then basically you're just going to take this now. If I don't feel like cutting it, you know, you can also take the clay like that and use a toothpick to get it all the way down in there like that. Okay, so you can do that all the way around. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do. I'll get a bigger strip, obviously. And I'm going to fill all that inside. And then when I'm done going all the way around like that, then I'm going to come back in and just make little logs. Okay, and the logs are going to fill that up so that this is a nice round piece around it. So I'm going to go do that, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm finally done packing, and this is what it looks like. So I took a strip of translucent and a size 3, and I wrapped it all the way around. Then I took a little Q-tip, I don't know, you can call it yeah, I guess it's a toothpick. Some people call it a cocktail stick, but it's a toothpick here in America. And you kind of push in, okay, so that you get inside there. And then, of course, you got the little, like this. It's going to come in with a little curve every place you pushed. So then I just took strips of translucent, and in those areas that were deeper, I put some of that there. Excuse me. So what I wanted to basically do is I want to make this round. So now we're more round. We got a little bit right here. Something stuck in my throat. And I just make it really, really thin, because I don't want a lot of translucent on the outside of it. You just want enough to protect the leaves. Let me go ahead and pull that off and make one that's a little longer. Put you back on there. I think what I'm going to do is I got a lot of these strips that's got little bits of green and little bits of red in there. So I'm not going to be able to use them for anything else. So I might make a scrap cane after I make this video. So you might actually get 2 out of me tonight. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one more strip of translucent, because see how small it is over the actual leaf? So I'm going to go maybe just like a number 3 or something. I'm going to wrap it one more time. We're going to reduce it, and then I will come back. Okay, guys, we are back. It took a long time to reduce the cane, but I wanted to go really slow and not be impatient because I'm so nervous about this. So this is what we got. Got a little bit of waste up here, but oh well. As long as the inside's good, then I'm going to be happy. So I'm just going to get this little lumpy part right here down a little bit more. I'll tell you what, I'm so nervous. I mean, I do flowers all the time, but yeah, this one's different. So I'm just going to cut it from the center. Anywhere. And I'm just going to roll it, so hopefully I don't distort it. Okay, you ready for this? Here we go. There is our poinsettia. It actually came out without too much distortion. I'm happy. So I hope you liked that video. I hope you try it. Just when you reduce it at the very end, just make sure you go really, really slow and it'll come out really nice. So thanks for watching, and I may come back, and if you can see all this cane with a little bit of green in it and red in it, I'm not going to be able to use it to cover anything else. So I think I'm just going to take all this and I'm going to pile it all together and make another cane. So I might come back with another video in a minute. See you later. Have a great night.